Today we're going to make this entertainment console. It's sturdy enough to hold this 75-pound, 65-inch flat screen. It's also built sturdy enough to hold several gigabytes of pure entertainment excellence. In addition to your internet boxes, your DVD player, it can even hold a sound bar or a receiver. To start with, I ripped these three 15-inch boards on the table saw, which is about the maximum width it will take, followed by the two side pieces. To fill in these larger holes, I'm going to use this light-duty, lightweight spackling that dries fast. And I'll simply wipe it on with an old credit card. Pack it in there. And press it in and wipe it off smoothly. Dents in the plywood can be removed by simply spraying them with water directly on the dent, making a little puddle, letting it soak in, and that causes the fibers to absorb the water and expand, leveling off the dent. Then I'll sand down the filler using these nylon sanding screens, and the advantage of using the filler instead of wood filler is it cuts down really fast. It doesn't take long to make them flat. Now we're going to cut some dados in the vertical pieces, and dados are nothing more than a wide groove. I'm going to do it on a sliding miter saw, just making successive cuts, moving the board slightly until it's the width of the horizontal board to fit in there. Be sure to try that on several pieces of scrap wood first till you get it down, and it should go in with just a slight bit of resistance, maybe tapping it with a rubber mallet a little bit. Now with the dados cut, we're going to dry fit it together like this with the two shelves installed, and then we'll get ready for the top shelf. And before you put it together, you want to determine if there's a better side of the wood, and you want that to be on the outside, and the top, and the wood that may have small defects going down so that they're not visible. And finally, with the top piece, I simply cut it a little bit too long and lay it on there for fitment, and then simply draw a line on there rather than try to measure it out into fractions of an inch and possibly making a mistake. An even better idea, rather than trying to trim it down, is simply let it hang over a little bit on that side and split the difference on that side. And that gives you a little more space on the edge, so you're less likely to have split out when you drive screws in it. Before adding glue, I'll take the framing square and extend these lines from the shelf all the way down so I can put the screws in the middle without worrying about it going to one side or the other. And I'll label the screws 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and the mating side over here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So if you need to disassemble again, you know how it'll go back together and the holes will line up. On the other side, I did the same thing, except I used letters instead of numbers. A, B, C, D, E, F. And the screws I'm using are 1-inch drywall screws driven just below the surface. They may not be the best for this application, but they'll hold it together to pull the wood together for the glue to dry, since I don't have clamps big enough for this project. The dirt and gravel on the concrete floor is very abrasive, so I'm working the project on this scrap carpet. My new TV is 65 inches and weighs about 75 pounds, so before risking that, I'll put this rather heavy jack on top of it and let it sit overnight, see if it sags too much. And what I'll probably do to be safe is to put a couple of dividers in here so the weight is distributed between the two shelves for better support. Finally, I coated it in 2 coats of latex paint in every man's favorite color, flat black. Let's take a look at how black it is. And there's a look at the tricked out finished product. If you like this video, or if you don't like this video, be sure to like and subscribe.